Oh, and I'm live. Excellent. Hello, everyone. Jake, you win the hellos this afternoon. I've got no idea what time of day it is or what day of the week it is, so it's amazing that I'm here at all. Jeff, happy birthday, before I forget to say it. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Don't forget, folks, to let me know when it's your birthday so I can embarrass you in public. I think this will be a lovely birthday celebration wine. Coddy and John have got the tagine. I have the tagine here. I didn't have time to make couscous to go with it, and my plating leaves things to be desired, but it smells amazing. I put a bit of yogurt on top because I think the chili is going to be a bit too spicy. Who else is there? Daryl and Sue. Hello, you're back. Hurrah. Rob, hello. And Deb, I hope you're there too. Hello. Hello, Megan. How are you? Are you having fun in New Zealand? You look like you're having a beautiful time. Harvest's going really well. It's nearly finished and it's not even March yet. So it's a bit out of control, but it's all good. I've got all the old gang back together. Karen's sending me messages. Hello, Karen. How you going? And Peter, lovely to see you. I will tell you more about harvest in a moment, Megan, but let's get some wine in our glasses. And this is not a Moorooduc Estate wine. This is our little guest wine today. Rare Hare, HR and RM Vineyard Pinot Noir. This wine has a beautiful story behind it, but let's get some in the decanter and in the glass, and then we can talk about it. It's from 2022. Okay. Hello, Kay. How you going? Megan, having a blast. We're still a couple of weeks out from picking. Oh, we've picked everything, including today we picked the Pinot Gris for the Pinot Ground skins from Duns Creek. Sorry about the cockatoos if they're irritating you. They're very noisy tonight. I'm not sure what that means, apart from the fact that maybe Jill didn't feed them enough seeds today. Jeff and David. Oh, hello, David. Happy birthday. Did you put any meat in the tagine? I did not, Jeff. Mine is as per the recipe. You guys may have remembered or recalled that I'm a little bit more vegetarian than I used to be. I do like a bit of meat, but also I think particularly for a wine like this and a recipe like that, I thought the mushrooms and the chickpeas and the spice would do really amazing things. So I wanted to just kind of keep it pure, but a little bit of lamb for Kay, good work. That would be lovely as well. Little bit of eggplant in the tagine, I think is rather good. I also forgot to bring my zucchini, so I put some frozen peas in as well. You know, exciting, huh? Hi, Megan. Hi, Linda. Fiona, Fee is assembling Peking duck. Excellent, good work. Oh gosh, giving that a good swell. It does smell delicious, doesn't it, Craig? So, yeah. Okay, what can I tell you about this wine? So we've had, in the very early days, our very first guest wine was a wine from Willow Creek, as it once was called, and now is called Rare Hare. So this is our second wine from Geraldine McFall. I think we had the Chardonnay back in 2020 when we were in lockdowns, and Jerry logged in. Now, I did ask her if she could come and join me at the table or log in, but she is also flat out with vintage, so she said that she would have to pass on it, and trusted us to say all the right things about the wine. So hopefully, gee, it smells good, doesn't it? It's really spicy. I think as well, I'm getting a little bit of the cinnamon and cumin and coriander from the tagine, but I'm getting it also from the wine, which is what I was hoping. got a really lovely nose. Okay, I'm going to let it open up a little bit, and I did chuck it in a decanter because I think that it's quite a young wine. It's from the beautiful Robinson Vineyard, hence the name. G'day, Lions. How you going? Hope you've got a glass of Pinot in hand. Yeah, delicious. So, what can I tell you first? Let me tell you how this wine was made, and then I'll tell you its origin story. Okay, I'm really glad that's a great match with the tagine. I think that the spice in the wine and the spice in the tagine, Cotty, I think it should absolutely highlight each other, which is great. So this wine is from the 2022 vintage. It's from Robinson Vineyard fruit. It's a parcel of fruit that usually comes to Moorooduc Estate. And in 2022, we sold some of it to Rare Hare and to Geraldine because they had a disaster in their vineyard. They had their next door neighbour sprayed Roundup, and it drifted across the boundary and did a huge amount of damage to their vines. And they didn't get fruit from those vines for a couple of years. So they were sort of looking for some fruit to be able to make some wine in those years, and we were very happy to be able to help them out. The vines have recovered, but it was a long, arduous journey for them, and they're still having trouble getting any compensation for it. So absolutely dreadful experience, and we were just glad we were able to help them out with a bit of fruit. So Robinson Vineyard fruit, which is why it's called HR and RM. HR stands for Hugh Robinson, and RM is Richard McIntyre. So and it says that on the back label as well, or the side of the label. Dice Online. Hello, Dice. How you going? We've been friends with Geraldine for a really long time. She's an amazing winemaker. She was at Stonia in her early days on the Mornington Peninsula, and then she moved over to Willow Creek as chief winemaker. Willow Creek was bought. I can't remember the name of the owner, but it was bought, and Jackalope Hotel got built on the property. And within the Jackalope Hotel, they've got Doot Doot Doot, which is their fancy restaurant, and then they've got Rare Hare as their cellar door and more casual dining restaurant. Rare Hare has now become the name of the wine as well. So the brand Willow Creek no longer exists. Rare Hare is what they call it now, which I think is great. They've got a cute little website, so you can buy all their wines there. But I think this wine is particularly special because of the origin of the fruit. We are going to be looking at the 22 Robinson Pinot next week. So with, thinking about how this wine tastes and trying to remember it for next week as well, be pretty awesome. Hello, Sonia and Peter. Welcome. Visiting from Tenerife in Spain. Welcome to Drinks with Kate, Peter. It's got a beautiful deep colour to it, and I know from reading the technical notes that half of it was destemmed and the other half was left as whole bunches and then layered in the fermenter. So it's all fermented together. That means that there's some juice in the system that will start fermenting, pretty much normal time, straight away or in a few days' time. But there'll also be bunches in the ferment that are going through carbonic maceration, a little bit of breakdown inside the berry. So oh wow, Craig just got censored again. You suggested an extreme approach to the Roundup disaster. YouTube doesn't like winemakers taking revenge. Absolutely. Well, that'll teach you to be vengeful, Craig. This wine, to me, has some Robinson characters to it, but it also has, here you go, Richard's wandering around wondering if he can have some, and he certainly can. There you go, Dad. But it looks quite different from the Robinson Pinot that we're going to have next week because of the way it was made. Pete, You've brought me some couscous. Thank you. I ran out of time to make myself couscous, but dear Pete has made me some. So I've got a little Moroccan banquet here now with my tagine and my couscous. That'll make me very happy in a moment. So half destemmed, half whole bunch. The other thing about doing it this way, if you've got the juice and the whole bunches and the berries in together, then you've got the juice soaking on the stalks from the very beginning, which is a little bit different from how we do a whole bunch here at Moorooduc. And you get different shaped wine, different shaped tannins, different extraction of tannin and savouriness, and some spice and herbal notes that people are picking up. So Fiona's seeing a lot more spice than Robinson, absolutely. Rob's saying it's like a Robbo Garden hybrid, absolutely. So it's got some of that savouriness that we see in the garden vineyard wine here, but it's got that Robinson perfume and lift to it, which I think is really lovely. Craig's wondering if it's higher in acid than the usual Mac style. I'm not sure about that, Craig. Jerry may very well have given a little tickle with some acid. I think it's got a tanginess, but I think that probably the extra tannin and the savouriness in it brings out the acid more. So I think the acid's probably fairly similar to what you'd see in the Robinson, but because the Robinson is 100% destemmed, you get sweeter, purer fruit, you get lower tannin levels, and so the acid doesn't seem as tart on a destemmed wine than it does on a wine that's had whole bunch ferment. It's one of the things about whole bunch ferment is that it accentuates the tannins, and sometimes green tannins, but this wine to me doesn't look green at all. I think really nice ripeness, and 2022 was quite a small crop level, but really lovely ripeness in the fruit, so that would make sense. And sadly, we can't compare this to the Garden Vineyard 2022 because we didn't make one because the deer, as you remember, the feral deer ate all of the Garden Vineyard fruit. So that's not possible, but we will compare it to the Robinson Pinot next week. What else can I say about this one? I think that whole bunch character gives it a sort of a cool herbal note, as well as the spices. I'm getting sort of, there's a little bit of wild mint, there's a little bit of chopped thyme and rosemary in there. I think it's got a lovely sort of coolness and a refreshing kind of character to it, which is tied up with the aroma and flavour profile, as well as the acid and tannin profile of the wine. Craig's saying it's working really well with Jones mushy vol au vent, so I think I better dig in. I think it's a really great mushroom wine, personally. And I know it's funny because I know that some people really hate chickpeas. I love them, so you know, I'm always happy to pop them in a dish. But I know some people find them a bit weird and hard and nutty. But I think the nuttiness of the chickpeas should go really well with the wine. So I'm just going to put some food in my mouth and some wine in my mouth. Give me a moment. Good mouthful. That's really interesting. So the spice, so the harissa, in the end, Mum had some homemade harissa in the freezer that she gave me, which was quite a small, it was a little container, but it's very potent, so it's quite spicy. The mushrooms bring out the earthy flavour, and so do the chickpeas, I reckon, bring out some earthiness and some savouriness in the wine. The chili brings out the spices, Cotty was saying before. And the spices also bring out the spice, but also some of the sweet fruit. So it's really nice, the balance between all of the different flavours in the tagine. And I just had a little bit of apricot as well, which has got a bit of sweetness to it too. Worked really nicely. Kay swapped out harissa for sriracha, but only 3 tablespoons, not 4. Oh, good. Yeah, I think that would have worked really well, Kay. That's what I was going to do if I couldn't find any harissa. I come to Moorooduc assuming that all the ingredients will be here, and every now and again they're not, which is very disappointing. Also, these days, now that Jill and Richard have moved downstairs, half the stuff is downstairs in their downstairs kitchen and half the stuff is upstairs in their upstairs kitchen. So it's quite a faff. So I should just bring my own ingredients and not rely on everything being here anymore. Linda is saying it's going nicely with dal and onion bhaji, which I imagine it would. Absolutely. And I would love to try some of Joan's mushy vol au vents because I reckon it'd be fantastic with that, Craig. Absolutely. Now that I've had some food in my mouth and the earthiness of the mushrooms and the chickpeas are kind of working, then that little bit of spice is kind of just warming my taste buds. I'm really getting more of the red cherry coming through, but it's almost like red cherry that's been sort of macerated rather than fresh red cherry, not cooked, not jam, but just macerated and allowed to kind of oxidize a tiny bit so it's not too sweet. It's definitely got that red cherry aromatic to it, but it's not fresh cherry and it's not jam cherry. It's more sort of what happens if you soak cherries in grappa for a really long time. Rob wants to know, was 2022 a one-off or have they made another vintage since? Dad, can you remember? They did two, didn't they? Was it 21 and 22 or 22 and 23?
I'm not sure.
Well, we're drinking 22 now, so it must have been 21 and 22. 21 and 22, Rob. So this is the second one. And their vines recovered enough for them to make wine from their own fruit in 2023, which was good. Fiona and David have an exo sauce dish going very well, I can imagine. This is the thing about these Pinots from down here, particularly in the northern part of the Mornington Peninsula, I reckon, that the fruit profile is great with Moroccan flavours and great with Chinese flavours. So you go your Peking duck with exo sauce and the sweetness of the sauce and the spiciness of it and the crisp saltiness of the duck skin and all that kind of thing works really, really well, making my mouth water just talking about it, even though I've got delicious food right here. The spices of Moroccan food and that kind of savoury, sweet, spicy kind of balance is pretty awesome with the wine as well. So it's one of those things that people forget that Pinot Noir, people sort of go, oh, Pinot Noir, it's so delicate. You have to be careful what you match with it. And to a certain extent you do, but you can challenge Pinot Noir quite hard with spicy dishes. You can always go too hard with the spices. We've had this discussion before. And particularly if you're adding hot sauce on at the end, that can be really challenging for the wine. But if it's spice that's been cooked into the dish, for some reason that seems to work better with Pinot Noir as far as just kind of blending and bringing out the fruit and bringing out the spice of the wine. So don't forget spicy food for Pinot Noir. Spicy vegetarian food for Pinot Noir can work really well. I don't like it with tofu very much. I think we've had that discussion with Shell and Andrew before, who are, by the way, in Tokyo. Well, Shell's in Tokyo at the moment. I'm not sure if Andrew is, but she sent me a lovely email saying how sad she was to be missing us all this week, which is a shame because just about everybody else of the old gang is here. So hopefully you're watching later, Shell, and we miss you. And Andrew, why aren't you watching without Shell? Or maybe you're in Tokyo as well. Anyway, I'm going to have another mouthful of this food because it's making me hungry just to smell. Mushrooms are amazing for Pinot Noir because they, depending on how you cook them, Craig's got Korean chili chicken on the stove. Definitely does not go with that. No, I think that would be a bit of a challenge, Craig. I'd probably have a beer with that. I love the texture of mushrooms depending on how you cut them and how you cook them. I just cut mine into quarters. I know the recipe said cut them in half, but my mushrooms are a bit bigger than ideal, so I cut them in quarters, but you still get that lovely toothsome kind of, they're not quite crunchy, but they've got a little bit of give to them, and but they also push back a little bit, so you need to kind of crunch down on them. The chickpeas do a similar thing. So texturally, I think this dish is really great with the wine as well. It is one of those dishes as well that makes you sort of hungry, thirsty. You kind of go, oh, do I need another sip of wine, or do I need another mouthful of food first? What's my palate telling me? You've got to listen hard to your palate sometimes, because your brain sometimes gets a bit kind of overwhelmed. It's like, oh no, food, wine. Oh. Just sort of stop, breathe for a second, think, okay, do I need a sip of water to kind of, settle everything down again? Do I need some wine to, jazz things up? Do I need some more spicy food to jazz things up in a different way? It's all part of the wine and food matching dance, which I think is awesome. Sonia, it's going well with chicken kebab meat with chili garlic barbecue sauce. Yum, nice. Sounds good. Yeah, and I think the other thing about this wine is I probably wouldn't match it to like a chicken salad or something like that. The chicken would be nice, but I think that it's not a wine that really kind of calls out to me to have salad leaves and things like that. And also vinaigrette on a salad can kind of really fight with the flavours of Pinot Noir. But so you want to steer away from vinaigrette and vinegary things, and you want to go more for spicy, chili, meaty or vegetable-y kind of things. Hello, Jeff. Welcome, Jeff Plan. It's a rare and lovely thing to see you on the chat with Dan and Ben. Hello, Ben Rankin. How are you? Good to see you guys. So this is probably a good time to let you guys know, if I haven't already told you, I think I did sort of let slip earlier, but Jeff's dropped off some of his whole bunch Shiraz from last year that we've purchased to go into the next box that I'll be offering really soon. It's one of those things, I'm trying to be a bit more organised this year with the boxes so that we don't get to the end of one box and I go, oh my God, quick, let's get the next one out. So we've got our guest wine locked in for the next one, which is going to be awesome. So Jeff, you're going to either have to come here or jump on the chat again when we're doing your Shiraz. That would be amazing, because we'd love to hear your thoughts about it as well. I'm sorry that you don't have the wine to taste with us, but I hope you've got something nice to drink. And are you guys picking fruit yet? I know that I think that you've had some fruit from Heathcote, but I'm guessing that Macedon's probably still a little way off. As I was saying earlier, we've apart from the Shiraz on the McIntyre vineyard and our Nebbiolo, which might not make it this year, although we said that last year and we managed it, so never say never. But we've picked everything else on the McIntyre vineyard. We've picked all of the Robinson vineyard. We've picked all of have we picked Pinot Noir, Duns Creek? We picked all of Duns Creek, which is supposed to be like a week or two behind everything else because it's further south and supposed to be cooler, but no, we had to pick that today. Garden Vineyard's all picked. Osborne's all picked. So really we've got all the fruit either in fermenters or barrels, or in the fridge cooling down for us to process tomorrow. Peter's going to help us with the de-stemming tomorrow morning, which is exciting. Pete's first foray into winemaking. Plunging tomorrow morning. You're pressing. Excellent. What are you pressing, Jeff? Have you got some Chardonnay, I guess, or Pinot Gris? Anyway, good work. There's lots of strange-looking tractors on our road at the moment, I bet, Rob. Absolutely. Craig, we have a winemaker from Orange who are volunteering a guest wine. We had him watching back episodes of Drinks with Kate. He loves it. DeSalis, excellent. Please email Craig. I love the DeSalis wines. Would love to have one as a guest wine. That would be amazing. Noreen, we're picking our hobby Pinot this weekend, roughly 900 metres down the hill from Paringa. Yay, excellent, awesome. Yes, Megan, we're missing your plunging, but Jess is doing a great job. We've got Jess as our full-time cellar hand this year. We thought we had a French girl coming, but she had trouble with her visa, so she's not coming anymore, which is a shame. But at the same time as her not coming, we got a lovely message from Mario, who did vintage with us in 2022, and he's got some time, so he's coming 2 or 3 days a week. So we've got it all covered. It's pretty much all picked now except for the Shiraz. It's just all being processed. We're starting to do pump overs on some of the fermenters that have started fermenting. So they're now being plunged. There'll be more pump overs. I think there were quite a lot of pump overs today, this afternoon. Quite a lot. Fiona, she should have put au pair on her paperwork. Exactly. Jeff, yes, Macedon's still weeks away. Yep. Vidello's in, Shiraz in tank. Whole bunch is in doing its thing. Good work. Grenache Rosé just kicked off. Ben's pressing his Sangiovese at the moment for Rosé. Good work, Ben. Excellent. Sounds like you guys are keeping busy. I hope you've got some nice beer on hand to help with the pressing at this stage of the evening. What else have I missed? I don't think I've missed anything from anyone. But yes, it's working out really nicely, and Mario is a legend, and we are very happy to have him back. He works at Rathdown Cellars in his day job and is carer for his 2 young sons. So he's a busy man, but he's made some time in his busy schedule to come and help out at Moorooduc. So that's awesome. We are missing you, obviously, Megan, but I'm really glad to hear that you're having fun in New Zealand and that you got back down to the Southern Hemisphere for vintage this year. It's pretty awesome. As this one's opening up, it's evolving as well. It's getting more sort of meaty, savoury, earthy, mushroomy notes. The spiciness is still there. But some of that bright cherry fruit's kind of softening out. Jeff, what did you forget? What did I say? God, my brain. I say stuff and it comes out of my mouth and within seconds I've forgotten what I said. But anyway, yeah. I love the savouriness of this wine. I love the sort of the seriousness of the wine. Oh, you said you'd get beers and got sidetracked with drinks with Kate. Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, get on with those beers, Jeff. That's very important. But keep watching Drinks with Kate as well. That's very important as well. Yeah, there's a really lovely earthy note to it, which is gorgeous. Karen and Craig are bringing the van down for Vintage 2027, bringing your shears. Excellent, excellent. Kay's agreeing that it's developed and more earthy now. Really lovely. Love to see you, Megan. Keep checking in with Drinks with Kate. You know where to find us on a Thursday night at 6:00. And I look forward to hearing more about what's going on. Peter said beer is still a drink. Thank you, Peter. That's very helpful. Peter and Richard have scoffed their tagine, so obviously it went all right. Did you think it went well with the wine?
Yes.
Good. They've also drunk most of the wine over there. The decanter's almost empty over there, so yeah, it must be going down quite well over there. Peter K says it is, but she's not a beer fan. So horses for courses. Jeff can still be part of Drinks with Kate when he's drinking beer. That's right, but he needs to. If he has to go and get beers from somewhere, that would be a shame to go away and have to beers with Kate in Adelaide. Well, Craig, that's a very interesting suggestion. I'm definitely planning for us to have a little session in the Victory Hotel. They have a lovely selection of wines as well as an excellent selection of beers. It is, as far as I know, the only place you can buy a bottle of Krug and drink it out of beer glasses, which I'm not sure whether we want to do that or not. Hello, Angela. How are you going? Lovely to see you popping in from Aperitivo. I still haven't heard about your trip since you got back in Italy skiing. Very jealous. So we'll have to catch up for a drink after vintage and you'll have to tell me all about it and show me all the photos so I can be properly jealous. But Yes, Adelaide. I have our bus driver locked in for the 3 days. I've just been looking at accommodation, and I am going to send you guys an email in the next week before our next Drinks with Kate, with details of sort of costings for the trip. Probably without accommodation. I'll let you organise your own accommodation, with some recommendations of hotels around where I'm planning to stay, and so that we can be based close to each other, so that we can meet if we're all in the same hotel, fantastic, but we can meet at the right time to jump on the bus to go to the wine regions. I'm planning for us to have a day in Adelaide on the Saturday to go to the market and to go out for either a late lunch or an early dinner. There's lots of plans, and it's coming together really nicely. So I hope if you're planning to come, I hope you've got those dates in your diary. May, it's late May, can't remember the dates off the top of my head, but it's Thursday to Monday. And it's going to be ace. So I'll put together a proper email with all those details. I'll send it out to you guys before next Thursday. What else? It's vintage, so my brain's a little bit fried. What's been happening apart from processing fruit? Not much. I was in Sydney last week, which was great. It was lovely to see Craig and Karen in Sydney. That was lots of fun. I do recommend any of you who are going to Sydney do book a dinner or a lunch at I Macaroni. It's lovely. It's a gorgeous little sort of family-owned Italian restaurant. Marcello, who is the chef and owner, 22nd to the 26th of May. Thank you, Kay. Marcello, who's the chef, is amazing. He makes beautiful pasta, terrific. Oh my God, that spatchcock was amazing. So it was a beautiful meal. We had scallops. We had melon and prosciutto. We had a beautiful pasta aglio e olio dish with the Chardonnay, which was a bit of a challenge to the Chardonnay because it was quite garlicky and chilly, but it had some botarga on the top, and it was that fishiness kind of worked, I thought, really well with the Chardonnay, although it was pretty intense for people who are not so into fishy flavours. The spatchcock that we had with the Pinots was outstanding, really delicious. So yeah, it was fun, and I highly recommend it. Do yourselves a favour and get there for a meal. And tell Marcello that you're part of the Drinks with Kate crowd. He might help you find a nice wine. It's only a little restaurant. It's in a little Victorian terrace, and it's lots of fun. So yeah, it was good fun. We're going to try and do a dinner in Melbourne later in the year. Maybe we don't have distribution up in Queensland, but I might come up for a few days just to say hi to some people and do a dinner up there in Brisbane. Watch this space. It'd be nice to get back to Western Australia, but I'm not sure if there are any Drinks with Kate people from Western Australia anymore. If you are a Drinks with Kate person from Western Australia and you haven't identified yourself, do send me an email, kate@moorooducestate.com.au, and let me know that you want me to come over, and I will make it happen. What else is happening? I'm in the planning phases of a trip to the UK in September for work, which will be fun. So anyone in the UK who's tuning in, I know there are a couple of people who watch on from time to time, so I'll be back there in September. Apart from that, we have a series of dates that I will also be publishing very, very soon for Wine Club and Drinks with Kate events here at Moorooduc in the dining room. Peter and Jill will be on the pans again this year, but we have at least one special guest that will be revealed very soon. So we're going to have a special guest restaurant chef pop up here in May, 4th of May. Put that in your diary if you like delicious food and Moorooduc Estate wine. And we're working on doing a special dinner with special lunch with produce from Torello as well, which will be lovely, which would be super fun. And we've got a couple of other ideas that are still in the works, so I can't announce anything further at this point. So there's lots of stuff going on. We as I say, we've got our guest wine for next box sorted out. But if, like Craig, if anyone's got a special friend in the wine industry who wants to have a play as a guest wine, please let me know, and I'd be very happy to. I might have to just check it out first. I've got a few other things in mind, but we've got a few boxes to get through this year, so guest wines are always good. What else do I need to tell you guys? Leonie and I were looking at stock, and we've just had an order from the UK, which means that we're down to our last few cases of 22 Pinot Gris, Estate Pinot Gris from 2022, and also the 2023 Pinot Gris on skins, which says it's sold out on the online shop. But if you ring Leonie or me or email me, we can sort some out for you, but only in the very near future, because it's pretty much all sold out. So Pinot Gris 22, Pinot Gris on skins 23. If you need some more in your cellar, in your wine rack, let me or Leonie know as soon as possible, and we'll get that sorted for you. We will be releasing the 2024 Pinot Gris on skins almost immediately, and I've got to write a tasting note for the 2023 Estate Pinot Noir. See, my brain's just starting to unfurl now. A dinner with the pesky deer that float around, Craig, that would be amazing. I might have to talk to Rob and Deb about that, because I know that they've had some success in culling a little bit of venison. It would have to be a private event here, but we could certainly work on making that happen. That would be a nice winter event with some whole bunch Pinot and some Shiraz, perhaps. So yes, Rob, I might get in contact with you about that, or see if there's anyone else that we know who might be able to supply us with some deer. That would be amazing. How good is this wine? It's now starting to open up with some dried rose petal kind of floral notes, which is amazing. So Craig, you would like a 6-pack of the 23 Pinot Gris on skins and 6 of the 24 as well. Okay, cool, Craig. I will send you an email tomorrow just to confirm that. You're in the system now as our first wine club member. And that's the other bit of news. We still haven't launched our new website, but honestly, it's getting really close. And I think our brains are going to explode before we launch, but we're hoping that that's going to happen very soon. We're also working on doing a back vintage tasting and sale in the cellar, which will be, I hope, close to Easter. We're hoping to do it in the holidays so that anyone who's interstate wants to come down for the weekend. Craig, we need AI ordering where we think we need a wine and it turns up. Well, I could have done that to you last week, but I'm not, I'm politer than that, Craig. Yes, so we're going to have a cellar party around the Easter holidays with some back vintages, wines for sale. So we're just working on the dates at the moment, and I will let you know about that very soon. Okay, Sonia, the whole bunch thing again. Absolutely. So how far back do you want me to go? Very briefly, whole bunch ferment happens when you don't put the grapes through a destemmer. The destemmer is a cunning little machine that whirls the grapes around and pulls the berries off the stalks, spits the stalks out the back, and the berries go down into the fermenter. And that's how we make most of our Pinot Noir. what that does is gives you the pure fruitedness of the fruit without the extra tannins and savouriness of the stalks. So when you do a whole bunch ferment, then you put the whole bunch of grapes into the fermenter. If you're doing 100% whole bunch ferment, like we do here at Moorooduc, then all the fruit goes in whole. It goes into a 2-ton fermenter, so there's a bit of gravity happening and squashing of berries at the bottom. So there'll be a little bit of juice at the bottom of the fermenter that will start fermenting as the yeast hits the sugar. But most of the beginning of that process happens inside the berries. Inside the berries, you have juice, you have sugar, and you don't have any oxygen and you don't have any yeast. So you get a thing called carbonic maceration, which is a breaking down of sugar into alcohol without the presence of yeast. It only happens a little bit. You can't ferment a grape juice to dryness with carbonic maceration, but also because everything's under strain inside the berry, you get some really distinctive aromatics, which a lot of people talk about as sort of bubblegummy sweet shop. When it's Pinot Noir, I always think of sort of raspberry jubes or strawberry and cream lollies, or those chewy things that we used to call red skins, which I'm not sure what they're called anymore. So those aromatics come off a whole bunch ferment first of all, and then as the ferment gets more stressed out, then you have to break up the berries. So Dad gets in and walks around on top of it once a day, and that crushes more berries, releases more sugar into solution into the system, and that will then give your juice the opportunity to ferment in a normal way with yeast and sugar becoming alcohol. Sorry, Jeremy's just driven up and the dogs are very excited to see him. What Geraldine has done with this wine, and so whole bunch ferment later on means that the juice is soaking on the stalks as well as the skins, and it's pulling more tannin and flavour and savouriness out of the stalks as well as the skins, so you get more structure in the wine as well. So what Geraldine's done is destemmed half the fruit and left half the fruit whole bunch and mixed it together in the fermenter. So you've got juice on stalks from the beginning. You've got some carbonic maceration happening inside the berries in the early phases. As that's getting broken down over time, you're getting more sugar into the system. It's fermenting more slowly than a normal destemmed ferment would go, but it's also soaking up some of the flavours and the tannins from the stalks as well as the skins of the grapes. Now, I don't know how Geraldine has managed the ferments. I'm not sure if she hand plunges the fruit or whether she walks on it or how she does that. So I'll have to ask her and report back on that. But essentially, the whole bunch is bringing carbonic maceration and more tannin from the stalks into the wine. The destem is giving you more purity of fruit, not the carbonic maceration characters, and a slightly more fruit-driven, less spicy, savoury wine. So this wine, the savouriness and the spiciness is coming partly from the vineyard, but also from the winemaking technique. I hope that made sense. Polly, cut it out. Can you guys see her? There she is. She's being a rat bag. So, Craig, what's the difference between basket press and blow-up bag press? Maybe one for next week. I can probably answer that pretty quickly, Craig, for those who want to know. A basket press is basically a wooden frame that looks a bit like a basket. It's got slats and gaps in between the slats. You fill that up with grapes and then it presses from the top down. So a basket press is quite an old-fashioned way of pressing grapes. And once you start pressing, there's no way of sort of loosening the cap to release more juice from the middle of the cake. We call it the cake when it's kind of pressed down. A basket press will tend to, because you need to press harder over a longer period of time than a blow-up press. Thanks, Sonia. A blow-up press, as well as the bag blowing up to press the grapes from all sides. It also, most of these presses have a part of their press cycle where they twirl around, and so they twirl around and they break, and the bag deflates at the same time. So it sort of decompresses the cap or the cake, and then it represses it. So you get more juice with lighter pressure as a result. So a basket press is going to pull more tannin and structure out of the grapes because you have to press it harder to get the last of the juice out. And you get a very solid, dry cake at the end of it. A bag press, the cake will still be really dry, but it's more loose because it's been tumbled around a number of times during the process. So you've had a press and then an unpress and tumble, and then another press and then an unpress and tumble, and so on and so forth over the press cycle. So you're squeezing the skins and the pips less, and you're getting more juice out of it as a result. So it's a gentler press cycle. Yeah, thank you. Richard's brought me some more wine. In a bag press than in a basket press, and a basket press is much more difficult to. It's usually smaller quantities, but that's not always the case. Certainly here we've got a little basket press that we do with small quantities. It takes more work to load it up because we kind of have to shovel the fruit in, whereas with the bag press we just kind of tip it down through the chute and it goes in. But pulling that, you have to pull the whole basket press apart to get the cake out afterwards, and that's quite a hard job, pulling it apart. The bits are heavy. It's kind of it's also hard work shoveling the cake off, and you get a lot less wine in the batch as a result. Sonia loves a gentler basket press. I think you can also make cider with apples from a basket press. Yeah, more oxygenation as well, Rob. Thank you. With the basket press, because it takes longer, then it tends to oxygenate the fruit more during the process than the bag press. Although our bag press, we allow the white juice to oxidize quite a lot before we pump it into the tank to stir it up to put it in barrel, because we like to have a bit of oxidized character in the juice, which falls out of the wine when it starts fermenting. You lose all the brown, you lose the murkiness, you get lovely clarity of fruit, and you lose clarity of juice. You lose a bit of the fruitiness of the wine, but gain some savouriness. Rockford could definitely be on the agenda for South Australia, Coddy. We'll see how we go. I'm not sure whether they can cope with a group of our size because they're quite a small cellar door, but I'll certainly ask. Basket press is not necessarily more premium, Craig. We see a lot of people making a fuss about basket press Shiraz, and when it's smaller batch, so in that sense it can be more premium, but it's more old-fashioned winemaking, so you get more structure, less fruit as a result. The Rockford basket press Shiraz is a really good example of very concentrated South Australian Shiraz that's gone through a basket press. It's pretty awesome. I shall ask. I cannot guarantee that we'll be going there, though, but we're going to go to lots of good places. So before we hit the 50-minute mark, I am going to love you and leave you. I've got a little repour of the Pinot, so I'm just going to have another look at that and see how it's going. Loans, thank you. My pleasure. You can see the Robinson vineyard. It's wearing different clothes. Absolutely. It's really interesting to see the character of the vineyard shining through, but also the character of the winemaker also shining through in the wine. Next week, we'll come back to the Moorooduc Estate, Robinson Vineyard Pinot Noir, also from 2022. So remember what this wine tasted like tonight. Take that memory put it somewhere safe, bring it back next Thursday, and we'll do it all again with the Robinson Pinot, which we are officially sold out of. So thanks, everyone. It's been lovely. It's great to have all of you back. It's really nice to see some people who haven't been part of the tasting for a while. So take care, look after yourselves, and I'll see you all next week. We might be on holiday by then, who knows? Take care. Cheers.